Alright. Just thought I'd make a short video. Nice. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, these lights have about seen it. It's got some battery left. New bushings. New bushings. I mean, as you see, I don't have the bolts in it yet. But, yeah. Here's some pieces of the new bushings. The bushings I had to get, they were not a standard size. I thought maybe I might get lucky and they'd be standard size. Well, no, they're not. The only bushings I could get that were even close to fitting are these right here. Energy suspensions. They're actually, as you see, Chevy truck. They're actually leaf spring polyurethane bushings. I think for actually the square bodies. That was on their universal list, and I had to cut off. It's turned off. I had to cut off roughly. I had to cut off about that much on both bushings. And then, of course, took a flap wheel, made them flat, and then I also had to shave down that shoulder. That front one I put in, I didn't shave the shoulders down, and man, it would not fit. I was hoping it would fit, but it wouldn't. I pulled it out. Dang, where'd the light go? I guess I use my iPod. It would not fit between there. I took the 2-pound hammer we got, spread it out. It still was tight, as you see right there. I welded in there, was able to get the bolt through it, but it was so tight it wouldn't even adjust. So I pulled it out, shaved the shoulders on that one. That one, luckily, I shaved the shoulders before I put it in. It slipped right in. The other side actually slipped in too, because I hammered it out a little bit more. So yeah, I also got me a idler pulley. I got to put that on. I got this thing, when I got this thing about 2 years ago, one of the pulleys was making a little bit of noise. But it lasted 2 years until it set in September, and then when I cranked it up after it set in September, the idler pulley was wailing, and I was able to squirt some silicone spray on it, and it quieted it down, but I need to go ahead and replace it. I got one side done. The other side, I don't think the bushings are that shot on the other side. This is the side that I've had a problem with about the cam bolts coming loose. And happens all the time on these trucks. And cam bolts came loose, and I'm pretty sure that's why this one was so bad. I'm going to drive it tomorrow. I want to drive it. I'll probably do the other side later on this week, because I'll jack the other side up, make sure it's not loose. I don't think it's loose. Shouldn't be loose. This was really the only side that I had movement in. I don't think there's any movement in the other side. I didn't see any cracks in the frame, so driving it for a couple days shouldn't hurt it if there is a little bit of movement in it. I'm going to drive slow. I'm going to go over bumps. I'm going to definitely slow down. But definitely I want to drive this thing. This weekend, or I got 2 other days off this week. I'll do it one of those 2 days. But also don't want to show my address, but I got this in today too. packaged. From IronMan 4x4 for my Jeep. That is the steering box spacer. This must be the sway bar drop brackets. Hardware, maybe. And actually, I know that's hardware. That's got to be that bearing. And put it down for a second. And the big steering box brace for the front of the truck. This it's not only a gearbox brace, but it's also a sector shaft brace. It's got a nut that goes on the sector shaft. Sticker, but it bolts on the lower frame rail, and probably in this box right here. This video is probably going to be shaky as hell. Again. Alright, put it down. Ooh, that was my finger. I don't know. Oops. Wrong side. Yeah, this is hardware. New steering box bolts. Probably, it's got to be some of the mounting hardware. More mounting hardware. And the bearing that supports the sector shaft, and then this is the new nut for to hold the pitman arm on, and then it goes on the shaft. In this, when you steer with bigger tires, your sector shaft, at least on mine, that's one reason why I replaced my gearbox, because my sector shaft moves side to side like this when I steer. Moves side to side. This long bolted to this brace, and then this bolts onto the collar of the steering box. Keeps the steering box from moving side to side, and then this keeps the sector shaft from moving side to side. And then this spacer right here is to replace the factory aluminum spacer that is prone to cracking. I don't know if mine's cracked, because I've never actually checked, but when you run this kit, you have to have spacers for your sway bar. That's what these are. Basically just some steel blocks. Aluminum foil. First I've seen aluminum foil. Never seen someone pack anything with aluminum foil. Not that it's a bad thing. It's definitely not a bad thing. Keeping parts from getting scratched. Put a big knife mark down it. And then there's the, I open it all the way up. That's the steering box brace. Braces 3 bolts, and there's one other hole in the back that I actually already have my bumper mounted through. So yeah, got that. And I should get this thing back together. I should be able to drive it again. And then, like I said, I'll do the other side. I don't think the other side is nowhere near as bad. So I'm going to repair the other side later on. This week, definitely, though. If not this week, definitely next week. If I don't have it repaired by next week, I'll park it and continue driving my death truck, unless I get that steering box brace on the Jeep and it fixes my death wobble. But getting excited. Finally get to drive my truck again. But another thing. Got some, with the shorting out issue, my driver's side HID went on the fritz. So I got some Oxbeam F16 H1 bulbs to replace my HIDs. That should be it. Yeah. Get this thing put back together. I'll probably drive it around, probably drive it into town. Probably get some gas in it. I think it's got about half a tank. I'll probably put, it's been set since September, so I'll probably put some fuel treatment in it, and I'll probably fill it up with premium, just to be sure. Don't want to be running on some bad gas. Yeah, probably do that, and yeah. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Well, I thought I'd add just a little bit to this. Yeah, this is the, this is not going to focus, but I don't know if you can see, it says GM as a part number. It is not going to focus, is it? GM. US bearing. 203, which is what I thought the bearing was. I could have just replaced the bearing, but whatever. Yeah. That's what happened when I took the spacer off the back. I think that bearing's shot. And also, this is the factory bearing. Here's the retaining clip that was on it. So, this bearing has lasted 200, I think I got about 210 on the truck. It's lasted 210,000 miles. Who knows how many engine hours? Because I've idled, just me personally, I've idled this thing a lot. But, yeah, that's where I ripped it to get it off. But, yeah, this is the factory pulley was on it. And, it's gonna jam, ain't it? Yeah, it's jammed now. Yeah. But, thought I'd add that. And also, that got the truck back together. It's all back together. All tightened up, all aligned. Went on the hood, bounced it up and down, moves fine. I looked on the passenger side too, bounced it up and down, it wasn't moving in and out. So, I'm pretty sure my passenger side's good. I am going to change, I'm at least going to take it apart and see what the bushings look like. If the bushings are bad, then I'll replace it. But, yeah, I just thought I'd add that. Placing that pulley. Alrighty, talk to y'all later.